At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee, meeting number 3 on January 16th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. So welcome back, everyone, and Happy New Year to you. It's a new year, a new beginning, and so I look forward to us making a lot of progress over the next year on this really large project of the Comprehensive Plan. So first off tonight, I'll introduce John. Y'all know John Chapman. So John is going to help us with the results of the Name the Comprehensive Plan Community Survey.
Thank you, Chair. Before I really dig into that, I wanted to recognize Thanani Devi Palma. She has recently completed the AICP certification. So the City of Arlington Planning and Development Services is pleased to congratulate her. She is our principal planner in the Long Range Planning Division for earning this AICP certification. AICP is the only nationwide independent verification of planners' qualification and is the much-deserved culmination of Thanani's experience, deep knowledge of planning, and commitment to pursuing the rigorous credential. AICP certification also demonstrates Thanani's dedication to ethics as embodied in the AICP Code of Ethics. We are proud to support and congratulate Thanani and all of our employees in their pursuit of the credential. So if everyone could just give a good clap to Thanani.
It was tough, I'm not gonna lie.
So, moving in to our agenda, we're going to be discussing more about the comprehensive plan name in general, and that's going to be those items 2 through 5. And then item 6 is going to be an overview of several plans, one being our own, just going to be a high-level overview of the Arlington 99 square mile plan. And then we're also going to talk about 2 other national award-winning comprehensive plans that were also approved by cities within this past couple of years. And then we'll talk about our future meetings and then adjourn. So I'm going to go over the results of the Help Name the Comprehensive Plan Community Survey. The survey was open from November 13th to midnight on New Year's Eve. This was shared on the city's website, arlingtonlistens.com, which is the public engagement website where a lot of the city's projects are located. You could find the comprehensive plan as well as the form-based code plan project there as well. It was shared on city's social media, e-newsletters, at public meetings. We had 33 participants who contributed 174 name suggestions. So I do want to thank everyone out there who contributed to the names, as well as the committee members in this room that contributed at their last meeting. So from those 174 results, this is a word cloud that pulls all of the buzzwords that were introduced as part of the names that were suggested. So apart from those really big names that you see, which is plan, future, Arlington, dream, and vision, there's some other buzzwords that received a lot of input that you can see down there at the bottom right, which are really great adjectives that, in my opinion, also talk about a lot of things that we've already been talking about with regards to envisioning Arlington's future. So now we'll move into, were there any questions about this word cloud or the survey process? So now I'm going to rewind the clock a little bit and just refresh everyone's minds on the committee's preliminary list of their top 10 name choices from their December 19th, 2024 meeting. So everyone at their place does have a handout that's very similar to the handout that was provided to y'all at your December 19th meeting, in addition to all of the community's suggested names that are on page 2 and 3 of your handout as well. So just as a refresher, the parameters that we've been talking about is including Arlington in the name, being no more than 4 words, and Kristen can kind of help with us talk more about that here in a little bit. To be visionary and unique, we want to be able to have a plan that stands out and is very memorable, and then be memorable. And then just those common words again that we've been talking about as well and that we see within the community survey results too. So this is the top 10 ranking of the committee's names last time. You can see that actually our top two was a tie, Innovate Arlington and as well as Aspire, Advance, and Achieve Arlington. And so now we're going to go into a discussion, but I did want to invite Kristen Wagner with the Office of Communications to kind of give some more pointers as we enter this discussion about any names that y'all have maybe considered yourselves over the last month, names that you've seen within the community feedback that you've been provided. As well as hearing a little bit on the next item, also asking anyone from the audience that we have here today if they have any suggestions. But Kristen, did you want to?
Yes, thank you. Wow, that's really loud. Just wanted to give a little bit of, feedback. I'm going to sit way back here. Our office, the Office of Communication, will be creating the logo and all of the branding assets for the comprehensive plan once you all decide on a name, and just wanted to give you guys some insight into what works really well for logos and branding and what may be a little bit more challenging, but that doesn't mean you can't choose that. So typically things that are shorter or more concise work much better in a logo. It allows the logo mark to stand out a little bit better rather than having a giant block of text when you have 4, 5, 6 words all in there. Things that are unique, words that, again, words that are shorter, or things that have alliteration work really well. So just wanted you guys to consider that as you have your discussions choosing those names.
Thank you, Kristen. But now I open the floor back to the committee. So this is going to be an opportunity again to share any new ideas that y'all may have. Thanani's going to help us document those. And then in our next item, we will talk about any revisions that y'all would actually like to make to the top 10 list itself before moving into any possible action. And in that, within that time period as well, we'll also have an opportunity for individuals from the public to also comment on the list. But for now, any new ideas, any thoughts on our current 10 list, open it to y'all.
Mr. Aldred?
Yeah, question. So are there any on this list of 10 that you didn't think were workable in a logo and some of the other stuff that you advised us on?
There we go. The two that to me look a little bit more challenging, again, we can make any of them work. Well, we've got really great people on our staff, but the two that look more challenging and that may have some more constraints around them are going to be number 2 and number 7, just due to the length.
And I should make a point of clarification. The printouts that y'all have on your slide for the slideshow is missing number 8 that you see here on the screen. Just want to point that out. All right. Go ahead. Yes, Mr. Powell.
I guess I had given some thought to a couple of the names, or kind of working from some of the names like Advance Arlington. And so I also gave some consideration to Ascend Arlington, which maybe is a little more unique, and at least in my mind was a little more unique than some of the other aspects of it. Or also somewhere I think I saw Advantage Arlington was another. I don't know if that made the exact cut, but some variation of those two seemed to speak to me. And then the last one, okay, and then we have number 60. That was the other one. So, okay, those are the two suggestions that I was going to add.
Any other thoughts?
Well, my thoughts, Innovate Arlington came out to be number 1, and that was not the one I came up with, but I do like it. And what I like about it is it rolls off the tongue pretty easy. And we want something easy to say. And so I agree with short names are going to be better, but Innovate Arlington is pretty strong for me. Does anyone else have any suggestions, comments, input?
All right. So next item will be some of those, maybe some of the ideas that we had heard. If we want to adjust our top 10, but keeping it to our top 10 list. This is currently the 10 names. So the committee now kind of has an opportunity, if they'd like to take any of the recommendations that you see written over here, to modify this list before we move into public comment and then possible action again.
I like the idea of Send Arlington, taking, if you look at number 7, the AAA Ascending Advancing Arlington, Ascend Arlington captures the idea of advancing just in a little more concise way and helps with the alliteration, the 2A. So I would be in favor of adding that to the top 10 list.
Okay. So right now I'm hearing replacing number 7, AAA Ascending Advancing Arlington with a simplified version of Ascending Arlington. Is there any objection to that? I'm seeing nods. Okay. Oh, ascend or ascending? I apologize.
I like the suggestion of just ascend,
Ascend.
but either one makes sense, so.
Does anyone else feel?
Say the opposite. I don't think it matters.
So we'll go with ascend. All right.
I think 3 of these have the word advance in them, and that seems worthy of consideration.
Is that just a point of statement?
I mean, we've got a couple of advantage, which sounded really strong, ascend, and then maybe advance Arlington's number 4, but if it's number 2 and 7 also. So that seems like everyone felt that was a strong word to consider.
I think because we have duplicatives,
Mm-hmm.
I think because we have duplicatives in there, we can probably get rid of number 2 because number 4 is already Advance Arlington.
Is there something we would like to replace it with?
I think it's already covered.
Yeah, it looks like she's gonna write advance Arlington, like number
Okay.
4, kind of standing alone, but coupling with 7 and 2.
Okay.
That sort of makes sense.
We'll keep a top 10 list still. So it sounds like there may be room if we'd like to replace number 2 with something, or we'll see how that just comes out in the rankings. All right. So this will be consideration and possible action for naming of the plan. But Chair, if you wanted to maybe open for public comment on that.
Yes, at this time, before we discuss this as a committee, would like to open this up. If anyone of our visitors would like to speak about or make comments about the names, we'd love to hear from you. So yes, sir, if you'll state your name and what city you reside in.
Anthony Nagy, and I reside in Arlington. I've been here 48 years. And looking at all the words, I said, how about imagining Arlington's tomorrow?
Thank you, Anthony. Is there anyone else that would like to comment? Okay, being that there's none, we will move this on for discussion.
Now, would the committee like to consider that as part of their list?
Just a thought, number 10, Reimagine Arlington, I mean, not, Fort Worth named theirs Reimagine Fort Worth, so that one's off the table, that should be off the table. Maybe we could replace that one with this gentleman's idea.
Okay, so I'm hearing number 10 to replace with, Donna, you'll have to refresh my memory exactly on Imagining Arlington's Tomorrow. That will be replaced with number 10. Mr. Siddiqui?
Yeah, I was thinking that we have number 9 also, Arlington Reimagining Tomorrow. So which is very much near that has been suggested by this gentleman. So
very true.
Oh, I was just going to, my name's Carol Stilley. I was gonna mention with Anthony's, I like that because he just says imagine rather than reimagine, because I feel Arlington has done an incredible job up to now. And so now we're just taking it to the future, which is why number 6 sort of, I like, because it talks about sort of a new pathway. So we brought it up to now, and now it's like, you know, how do we address the future? But the 2050 seems a little out there. I would imagine, so I don't know, you know, where that came from, but I thought 2040 would be, you know, sort of appropriate.
Thank you. Carol, for the record, will you state your name again and what city you reside in?
Oh, sorry, Carol Stilley, and I live in Arlington.
Thank you.
Do we want to refinalize the list in any way? So I believe we have replaced yes.
Are we replacing number 10 or number 9?
I believe number 10 will be replaced, and it was stated that number 9 is similar to what is replacing number 10, which is, again, imagining Arlington's tomorrow. All right.
John, are you merging the ones that are on the thing with the ones that are on the board as well?
Yes, we have an updated list already.
Oh.
Magic. So before taking action, I wanted to make sure that the committee is fully aware as to what will take place next. So we will take all 10 ranked items as they are ranked by the committee and forward those to council with making sure that it is clearly understood what the top choice of this committee would be for naming the city's comprehensive plan. So this is the committee's final 10. I want to make sure that it is documented correctly. So we have Innovate Arlington, Aspire, Advance, Achieve Arlington, Arlington Dreams to Action, Advance Arlington, Dream Arlington, Arlington Pathway 2050, Ascend Arlington, Arlington City Without Limits, Arlington Reimagining Tomorrow, and Imagining Arlington's Tomorrow. All right. If the committee members will please take out their phones, this will be a similar ranking system to what we did in December. And this ranking will just be for the committee members. You'll see a QR code on the next slide. It's just for committee members. Yes? Oh, yes. I can go through I'll go through that ranking guidance real quick. Just as an FYI, we will do the ranking. The committee does have an opportunity to basically re-rank again. It'll just take staff a little bit of time to make sure that the current rank, that whatever is ranked is downloaded first so that we can clear the ranking to re-rank. If that takes place and we need to discuss it, we will go back to a public comment portion before actually re-entering any ranking. So just because we do this once, does not mean y'all need to be satisfied with it and put it to rest. I just want to make sure that y'all are understanding that. Good? All right.
Is that the same one that's on the page here?
It should be, yes.
Ken, I have a question. Did the the dream in number 5, did that stand for something? I can't remember, because there was a thing, I remember.
Yes,
Joseph?
I believe it did.
Was
Ms. Satcher,
the
did you?
dream, what did dream stand for? Remind me again.
I have a couple of them. I didn't get all of it when I took a note, but it was diversity, reimagining, and then I'm not sure what the EA and the M were.
I have it. It was I don't know if it was developing. Give me a second, hold on. Diversifying, reimagining, expanding Arlington's mission. Developing, reimagining, expanding Arlington's mission.
Thank you.
I like the real-time thing going on, though. I like the real-time results.
Well, it's on the next slide.
That's the final result. I like it.
Don't want it to persuade anyone. I want honest ranking. Still see a few more phones. Thought is good. Nothing wrong with that. All right. And then Tabitha, I'll need help with scrolling up and down. Ms. Satcher, are you still ranking? You're not? Oh. Mr. Tettleton, did you finish? Okay. All right, let's see what we got. Innovate Arlington is number 1, pulled away. As we recall, in the previous ranking, it was tied. So it does seem as though it pulled away. And then Tabitha, you'll scroll down a little. Oh. Got AAA, Advance Arlington, Reimagine Arlington, Arlington Dreams to Action, Arlington 2050, Aspire, Advance, Achieve, Arlington Without City Limits, Arlington Reimagining Tomorrow, and Dream Arlington. Huh? Was this not the updated list? Mm. The results are different?
We have Innovate Arlington, Ascend Arlington.
Oh.
Imagining Arlington's Tomorrow, Arlington Dreams to Action, Arlington Pathway 2050, Aspire and Achieve Arlington, Arlington City Without Limits, Dream Arlington, and Arlington Reimagining Tomorrow. That's very end.
Did y'all see Ascend Arlington on your ranking?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a point of order, Mr. Chair. Would it be possible to have that typed and put up on the screen so we can see that?
Yeah.
I'm a visual person, and I'd just really like to be able to see what we're working through.
And I apologize, y'all. Could you,
Thank you.
Tabitha, could you modify slide 14, that list? Just go to slide, if you'll go to slide 14 for me. I need this to be slide 14. Nope. I got it. Hold on. There we go. Is that correct? Okay. So we got Innovate Arlington, Ascend Arlington, Advance Arlington, Reimagining Arlington's Tomorrow, Arlington Dreams to Action, Arlington Pathway 2050, Aspire, Advance, Achieve Arlington, Arlington Dreams Without, City Without Limits, Dream Arlington, and Arlington Reimagining Tomorrow. I'm seeing nods. So the top choice would be Innovate Arlington, and as it showed, it definitely did pull away. All right, so I'm seeing nods. All right. Chair, if you don't mind, just making sure everyone in the room is good.
So does anybody need to discuss the winner or any opinions? I like it. It's easy to say.
Yeah. Innovative.
Yes, it's innovative.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all and again the public for helping us come up with this top 10 list and the top name. We will present this to council and come back to y'all with the finalized name and some possible ideas on logo and branding. Look forward to trucking on with that. All right.
All right. Well, first off, thank you for doing the technical wizardry there, because if I were in charge, we would have to come back next year, and I would be able to get the slide right. So appreciate your hard work on that. So next, we have John and Jency Throppel, the Planning and Development Services Director, will provide an overview of the 99 Square Mile Plan, as well as two other nationally recognized comprehensive plans as a precursor to our February 20th and March 20th meetings.
Thank you, Chair. As Jency's making her way up here, as Chair mentioned, we're going to be talking to y'all about 3 plans. These are just going to be high-level discussions, dipping our toes into the waters of comprehensive planning, what Arlington currently has on the books, and what have been 2 great comprehensive plans in the planning world's eyes. So I'm going to hand it off to Jency to talk more about the 99 Square Mile Plan.
Thank you. So just again, Jency Thopel, Director for Planning and Development Services. I've been with the city for completing 20 years in February. So have seen the whole process of the last comprehensive plan as well. That was one of the first projects that in 2005 when I came in, that was handed out and, kind of worked through saying that was my first project to start looking at, but then it got into the back burner very soon. And so it took a long time to get it all completed. So 2015 is when it was completed. It was an effort in-house that we had to do at that time. So that's another thing. So one thing to remember is the 2015 99 Square Miles Plan started in 2002. The work on it started in 2002. So think about the data that we had from 2002 is what we were kind of taking it on forward and forward. And of course, we were keeping on adding more data to it as the years progressed. But there was a lot of data that was kind of lost also with all these years of working on it. So it's very important that the comprehensive plan that we do now is on a timeline, and we don't lose the momentum and get it completed, because then you have the data that is really real time, that you've got it and you're working with it and coming up with the recommendations for it. So that's one thing that learned from the 2015 plan. Again, an in-house effort does take a longer time. Now we have consultants, so we are lucky to have consultants work with us on this project. So with the 99 square miles, we, of course, in 2000, there was a lot of community input. I have to tell you all that 2002, there was a whole, I forget, the vision group that was created, and there were 20 people on that group, and they worked on it really well to come up with visions and everything but in 2002. Right? Prior to 2002, there was sector planning that was done in Arlington, and those sector plans were really well done, I would say. Each sector, like East Sector or whichever sector there were public engagement. People really worked on each sector for almost a year to come up with that plan. So all the work that was done prior to this was really, really valuable. Similarly, I think even after the 2015 comprehensive plan, we have adopted many other plans, corridor plans. Those are all well done projects that we do need to consider when we are working on this plan, and if there are any updates that's needed since then, that should be considered. So we did have a vision, and we had goals and strategies. Like the big picture 5 goals were value our neighborhoods, get around, grow our businesses, protect our resources, and develop our land. Now, along with this, we also had created developed 7 catalyst projects that had a short-term implementation goal. Those projects were to be completed by 2020. So it was a 5-year short-term goals that we had. Of those 7 catalyst projects, I would say 4 of them are almost complete, but we are working on all of them. However, it's not all complete. So I have to be honest with y'all on that. Those 7 catalyst projects are not all complete. But that was another thing that the CompLam did achieve, was come up with what are those short-term goals and short-term action items. So that's another thing that we would like to see in the new plan also, is what are those short-term action items that you want. So more than what we have in the previous plan, I want to kind of also give you all some idea of what our council is trying to get out of this comprehensive plan, as well as some of our city directors of different departments. What are they looking for? We've had council retreat with them. We have had quarterly meetings for directors to talk about the comprehensive plan, and we wanted to find out from them what is it that was missing in the last plan and what are they really wanting to see in the new plan. So I'm going to kind of bring those up, and so you take that with a grain of salt, but also understand that council is going to be adopting this plan at the very end. So there is some final things that they do want to see, but they want to see that come from the public, from our steering committee. So they wanted to see, and they told us, look to other cities with successful redevelopment for inspiration. How did they integrate a plan for the aging infrastructure, redevelopment, and revitalization techniques into their comprehensive plan? This was a big, big thing throughout the whole council retreat about how redevelopment, how this plan needs to focus on redevelopment, and that we have aging infrastructure, and how are we going to take care of it. So there's also a financial stability issue that the city, not just us, many other cities are also facing at this time. So especially us with the aging infrastructure, how are we going to take care of the infrastructure? At the same time, be able to pay for things. We do have a budget deficit this year, and we are expecting that we would have that for the next 2 years as well, and who knows after that. So with that in mind, we are also looking at how are we going to be financially stable. But again, understand the comprehensive plan is not just this 2-3 years plan that we're talking. We have to think big, but always remember that financial stability will be one of the factors that we have to think. And so for financial stability, if you have aging infrastructure and you have aging buildings, what is it that you would be thinking of redevelopment-wise that can change our property values, bring in more taxes, all of that kind of stuff too. The other thing that they wanted to make sure we do is create channels in the planning process to get input from millennials, Gen Zs, because this plan is not just for us, it's for our future generations. So how do we get them more involved and get their ideas into this plan? That's important. Again, it's not just the 5-year term that we are talking about. We're talking about 20 years at least. So try to get as much participation from them as well. We do have a great entertainment district, but the comprehensive plan is not just about the entertainment district. Arlington is not just the entertainment district. But how do we take that entertainment district that we have and create more opportunities there? What's that future growth that can be seen in the entertainment district? That's another thing. Providing more opportunities for industries to come here, offices to come here. So what's that technology and industry expansion? And that will bring tax dollars to us. We do have a talent at University of Texas at Arlington that we have right in the city. How are we capturing on that talent and trying to keep them here? How are we doing with creations of business incubators, getting our talent to create more job opportunities for the city of Arlington? How do we get to move around faster in Arlington? And not just faster, maybe thinking of different choices of moving around. And then we asked, so what is it that's not there in the current comp plan? And the overwhelming response was, it is ambiguous. It lacks clarity in terms of mostly development of land, how things need to be developed. And council, their major task at council meetings are the land use decisions that they're making, right? They have budget is one big, and the other part is the land use decisions, which all ties together. So they did feel that the comprehensive plan was not providing them enough clarity to know how to make these decisions. So the action item was analyzing all these current plan ambiguities, but ensuring that the new plan is more precise and actionable. Note that the comprehensive plan is still a guiding principle. When we talk about exact land uses and what needs to be done, the coding has to happen, and that is the Unified Development Code. So how does the Unified Development Code and the comprehensive plan align? So sometimes we may create a plan which may not completely align with the Unified Development Code. Then what needs to happen is the Unified Development Code needs to be amended to align with our vision. So that's the other part that needs to happen. From the director's point of view, one big thing that was brought up, even the city manager's offices, felt like our sales tax dollars were going outside of the city. How can we keep the sales tax dollars inside our city? So what that means is, if there are shopping centers outside, just outside our boundary, right? And there is quite a few shopping centers now that developed just outside our boundary. So Arlington residents are going outside of Arlington to purchase these commodities. And so where's that sales tax dollars going? It's going to other jurisdictions. So how do we plan, or how do we develop or redevelop our land in Arlington, thinking of how the focus should be centralized or at the edges? Those kinds of things is what you have to be thinking about, where we can keep our sales tax dollars within Arlington, but at the same time you could benefit from other residents, other neighboring residents coming to Arlington as well. So how do we do that? So the sales tax leakage report, how we are not able to capture that. That's what is going to help us understand that better. And so identifying potential areas for new regional facilities, capturing that revenue. So that's another thing. Trying to see if there was anything. Encourage creative thinking and dreaming, again, because this is not just for the next 5 years, 20, 25 years that we are talking about. There is technology out there that's advancing every day. How are we trying to take that into consideration when we are doing things in Arlington? That's another thing that we have to be thinking about. So opportunity, innovate Arlington name might be a good one also. The opportunity for Arlington to innovate in every possible way. In terms of redevelopment, but also in every other way, right? So innovate kind of captures a lot of ideas together. But when you do come up with these ideas, respect the community while introducing these best practices and highlight Arlington's innovative potential. So that was the other thing that council and the directors wanted to make sure that we do, is we think of these best practices and innovative ideas, but respect the community we are in, because our community does have a lot of assets, great assets, and we need to celebrate those. So how do we celebrate that at the same time trying to bring in innovation? So plan for the growth so that we don't become victims of change, because change is happening. And how are we going to take that and plan for it rather than becoming victims of it? Target underutilized strip and retail centers. Enhance our talented workforce that we actually have here. Highlight our major assets like our airport, UTA, Rangers, General Motors, but also try to see how young people would move into the city where they would like to fix up their homes with their own money. What is it in Arlington that will pull them, attract them? And so come up with what those things are. And then one of the other vision items that was talked about was a deck park vision on I-30, just like how Clyde Warren Park is in Dallas. We could have a deck park over I-30 connecting where Lincoln Square today is, and with the city property that's on the north of I-30. That may be one of the ways that can be created as a community asset. Also in the UTA master plan, they have a similar kind of park over Cooper Street that they have envisioned. So those are all places creating. It's also about placemaking. So that could be that placemaking aspect. One of our directors wanted to make sure we include arts and culture into this whole placemaking effort. And so these are some of the ideas that I wanted to pass on and convey that to you all. So when you all are thinking of great ideas, you have these in the background as well. Any questions for me?
Yes, Victoria.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. There was a lot of data. Thank you so much for giving us a lot of insights on what people are thinking about. You mentioned a few things like the sales tax leakage report and a number of things that I was furiously writing down. So could we make sure that those resources and those data be
Yes.
linked to
Yes.
the working page so that we can kind of at our leisure peruse this so we can have a better sense of what you're
Right.
referring to?
So our consultants are working on the base existing conditions. We do have a sub-consultant in the team that works on economic trends. And so they will be looking at all that and providing us the data, which we will be definitely bringing to y'all. And I am hoping in the next meeting, whenever the consultant is here, March, they will share all that. But before that, whatever data we get, we will try to send it to y'all beforehand, so y'all are ready for that March meeting with the consultants.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much, Ms. Lopel.
Yes, Taylor.
Yeah, I was just a little confused on how current is this stuff? How, is this leftover from the old plan, or is this current stuff?
So again, this is not very actionable in terms of, it is a big picture goal, definitely big picture goal. But how do you actually accomplish this? That's the part that's not there in the current plan. And what we want to do is, with the new plan, actually create those actionable items too. So this value our neighborhoods. Who will say no to that? That is a big picture goal. Everybody wants to value the neighborhood. So I think it's written in a way that is definitely something that we all want, but is there any more actionable items to it is what we are looking for.
Yes, Mr. Powell.
Ms. Opel, one other thought was, you mentioned from the 2015 plan, there were 7 kind of catalyst projects. Are you able, or can we get some understanding of the detail, or, just identify which of those projects are and which ones were completed? That may give us some thought in terms of some of the challenges that maybe kept us from completing some of the 7, but also what allowed us to complete some of the 7 as well.
Definitely. I'll tell you about build a full-service destination hotel and expand the city's available conference space in the entertainment district. This is completed. With the Lowe's Hotel, with the 880 rooms and the convention center along with it, we have completed that Catalyst project. It talks about develop a mixed-use office development that serves as a signature feature for residents and visitors that travel into the area. This is not happened. We have really worked hard to find a developer to help us develop the city property at the I-30 Collins corridor, the north portion, but we've not had any luck. We hired a development firm to find other developers who could partner with it, and they've not been, and a renowned firm, and we've not found anybody. So we are waiting for the right development to come. We just don't want to give it to any shopping facility to just come over there. There are a lot of people who are asking us for those kinds of uses, but we are waiting to get the right use on that land. Improve the aesthetics of Arlington's major corridors through strategic targeted landscape treatment that is drought tolerant and low maintenance. So major corridors, I-30, if you look at it, there you will see a lot of different drought tolerant plantings that's happened along I-30. I would say we've tried to do most in the I-30 region. We've done a few medians and everything on Green Oaks, but not a whole lot everywhere else. So we will definitely be focusing. It's a work in progress, I would say. There's a lot of welcome Arlington signage that you see on these big corridors. Those are also a part of that goal that we had. So that's a work in progress. Create a neighborhood program in Arlington that connects people and resources. creates opportunities, and provides support for neighborhood organizations and community. I would say this is also a work in progress. We have made changes to our neighborhood program, neighborhood planning program, with the Office of Strategic Initiatives taking that as one of their major tasks. So there are staff planners working on specifically that item. Also, there's a leadership network. I forget the name exactly. What is it called? Leadership Arlington. So there is a neighborhood network for that, and that is the other part, the providing that support for neighborhood organizations and communities. So we've created some resources, but I don't think it's all. There's more that can definitely be done in that, so it's a work in progress. Develop Arlington's downtown into a vibrant destination, providing entertainment, employment, culture, and local goods and services for the immediate and surrounding community. We did the downtown master plan after the comprehensive plan. That same master plan consultants are actually the consultants for this comprehensive plan. So it will be a lot of connections from that time that we can bring back. But as you see from 2015 to now, downtown is very, very different. And I would say it will keep becoming more and more vibrant through the years. There's several plans that's in the works right now also for development and redevelopment. So that's, again, a work in progress. Provide a network of trails and open space throughout the city, creating a space for residents and visitors to enjoy the outdoors. So our parks master plan, and very recently, the last 2 years is what I remember, they updated their master plan also. They have been always looking at acquiring certain land so that the trail connections can be made properly per their master plan. So it's, again, a work in progress. Not everything is done yet, but we have accomplished quite a bit in that aspect as well. And then create commercialization opportunities for technology and scientific innovations with the University of Texas at Arlington. We have done a little bit, I would say, in terms of like business incubators that we have created on Main Street with them, but there's more that we can do. Definitely more that we can do. There are alumni from UTA who have been helping us create some of those office spaces, like technology-related office spaces here. So that started. We also now have eSpace coming in. We'll definitely be providing a lot of job opportunities for our existing talent here. So there's a lot of things that have been done, and we think that this is going to continue further as well. So that's kind of the catalyst projects that we had.
Anyone else? Any other comments or questions for Jency?
All right, thank you.
Well, I just want to say thank you for 20 years. That's a long time. I had hair when you started, so that's been a while. So on my head. So a couple of things that I think would be good to just look at right now. One of them would be when you did this in years ago. It took a lot longer to get done than we have time for now. Is that accurate to say that we want to move this as quickly as we can and do it right?
Yes, we have a time frame. We have a 2-year goal to get this thing accomplished, and we are trying to stick to that timeline so we don't lose the momentum and this can be accomplished.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the last time that you did a comprehensive plan, there was not a consulting firm helping, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so this time, we have the experts that are going to save us time, and time is money. And so if we can have these consultants, which are very, very good, speed us up and guide us, then we're not going to get as easily caught up in analysis paralysis where you just cannot move forward. So I'm excited to see what we're going to come up with. A couple of other just comments. I read the comprehensive plan, and you know, my eyes just kind of glazed over. But I do like the fact that our mission is going to be more clear, with a little bit of clarity, more specific. And I don't know, I'm sure that the consulting firm is using AI like everyone else, but at least it could spit out some good specific ideas, and you could pick the ones that you want. And anyway, I wanted just to thank you again for 20 years, and I'm really looking forward to moving fast. And I will say, make one comment, and then we'll move on to the next agenda item, and that is that small business can pivot very quickly because it's small. It can be nimble. It can change. Well, with the city, it's very large. And so the decisions that we're making may feel like they're moving slow, but there's going to be a lag time between the decision-making and when things can be implemented. So I think that your fast action approach is going to be a very good way to go. So thank you very much.
And you have a great team to help you with this.
Absolutely.
So definitely this team is a team here. And the council that we have really, along with our city manager, has put a whole lot of emphasis on this project. They want this comprehensive plan. Many of the council members who will be rolled out in the next term or something, they want to see this comprehensive plan before they leave also. So it's a legacy that many of the council members will also want to leave. So definitely a lot of emphasis, and you have a lot of support from everybody. Thank you.
All right.
All right, so let's dive into some recently completed comprehensive plans that have gained national attention, specifically with the American Planning Association for the work that was completed. First being the Charlotte Future 2040 Plan. This was coincidentally completed by the MIG consulting firm, who is brought on by Arlington, so we do have high expectations. But an overview of this plan, you're going to see that the vision, goals, and strategies, if anyone's familiar with Charlotte, there's some similarities in the life cycle that Charlotte and Arlington might share in some regards. And so you're going to see a vision statement, some goals and strategies here that are very similar, at least from my perspective, to what Arlington is. They want to be prosperous, equitable, sustainable, and inclusive city for all. That's certainly something that is, for me, indicative of the American Dream City. And so these goals, enhancing the mobility, you know, we've already heard that one of the goals from council is getting around town faster, ensuring that there's equitable access and growth. We've talked about, or you've heard the city already talking about the housing affordability situation going on nationwide and how we can address that as a community. Fostering diverse and vibrant communities. You know, we want to recognize that Arlington is made up of many neighborhoods, and that's what makes it such a great place. And then for strategies that Charlotte has that's emphasizing on mixed-use development, we've already discussed that, and it's already something that was also identified in the 99 square mile plan, improve public transportation. And again, that's something that for Arlington, it's really going to be focused on how do we get around faster in Arlington, increasing that affordable housing, and then promoting economic development. So very similar, I think, to some of the conversations that we will also be having here in Arlington and exploring more. So some innovative practices that I want to bring to everyone's attention, and again, this is work that was also completed by the MIG consulting firm, is their equitable growth framework, which is designed to address long-standing disparities and inequalities, prioritizes the needs of vulnerable population, and aims to create a city where all residents can thrive. Again, on really, for Arlington, that would be capitalizing on ensuring that everyone's dream can somehow be achieved here in this city without having to go anywhere else. But what's great and innovative is compared to what we currently have, and this is really just a change in technology over the past 10 years, is having a more digitized comprehensive plan. One that you can actually drill down to. You can kind of see on that left-hand side, that table of contents, drill down into topics, click into that, and then you'll actually see a lot of those actionable items, which is something that we also want to really be encouraging with this comprehensive plan. So you can really get to the meat of the topics that you're wanting to know how the city's going to pursue those over the next some odd years, depending on when you're going to be viewing the comprehensive plan. So it's going to be we're hoping and anticipating that Arlington will have something similar to this, and it's going to be very helpful for bridging any type of educational gaps on what are we doing, what are we trying to accomplish, where are we at. So something very excited, I think, to look forward to after the adoption of the comprehensive plan. Something also innovative with the Charlotte 2040 plan is their policy framework. They have 10 major goals, and those are identified on the image on the left within their table of contents. And you're going to see a lot of generalized terms that for Arlington may also be representative of what we're going to start having discussions on over the next 2 years. And so same with that previous slide, what you would actually be able to do is click into those goals, say safe and or healthy, safe, and active communities. You'll be able to click into that, and we can probably all imagine a lot of the topics that would be involved with creating that healthy, safe, and active communities, and see the actionable items that the city is going to be pursuing as part of their comprehensive plan, and even dive into where are we at with this. So it's a really quick way to dive into topics that anyone's wanting to search more about without having to comb through a static PDF that could be cumbersome. So. But again, that's more so just a shift in technology over the past years. And then their implementation strategy, and this will be big for Arlington, really highlighting, again, actionable items and keeping the comprehensive plan in focus for all of the departments across the city, but as well as being transparent and accountable to the community that's going to help create this. So this includes updates to what would be their Unified Development Code. Over here, you can see that as UDO, or the Unified Development Ordinance. So for instance, if there are policy recommendations for how our UDC would be updated, someone could come onto this site, click into that Unified Development Ordinance, and actually see the actionable items and recommendations in the plan that would affect, for instance, Arlington's Unified Development Code. So something really easy and great. I am hoping, and I think fair to say, expecting that Arlington has something like this, because it'll be a great communication piece for the public as well as for city staff. Any questions on the Charlotte plan? And we'll probably have more information, or more opportunities to talk about Charlotte and bring it up. Just for everyone's knowledge, Alicia with NAO, who is going to be really leading a lot of the economic development efforts. She was actually my counterpart for the Charlotte plan. She's just now transferred over into the consulting side. So she brings a wealth of knowledge about what they did in Charlotte. And so we're really excited to have her. And so you'll probably hear more from her, and she'll be available for questions here and there as well. But any questions about some of the stuff that you saw for Charlotte and ideas, or like, yeah, I really like that you really want to make sure that we focus on for here in Arlington?
Taylor?
Yeah. Good job. How long ago did they finish this one?
So they completed theirs in 2022 or 21. Yes, I believe that's correct. And then they won the Daniel Burnham Comprehensive Award in 2023. Essentially the Oscar for Best Motion Pictures, what that could be equated to.
How many nominees were there?
I don't know that. Yes.
I'm a little bit familiar with Charlotte. I have a son that lives there, and I know there's been a lot of redevelopment going on. And I was trying to kind of look in here and see, and I'm like, one of these pictures on slide 25 has one of those typical 5-level surrounding a parking garage apartment complex. And I know there's been some other places where they've torn down stuff to build new skyscrapers on the edge of, they call their downtown, uptown. Are we going to be addressing that, I would hope, in the Arlington plan about redeveloping land and the displacement of people and stuff? Okay.
That's definitely a focus. I think it's kind of highlighted by making sure we're innovative everywhere in the city, as Jincy kind of pointed out, and making sure that we aren't a victim of change. So, but again, we will be listening to the community about what they want, as well as providing the information about where we stand, as well as some forecasting on, scenario-based planning on if we do this, this is a potential outcome. It's an evolving conversation, but it will be talked about. All right. So another great plan, coincidentally, both in North Carolina, the Greensboro 2040 plan. There are no connections here within the MIG team or any of their sub-consultants, but they won the 2022 Daniel Burnham Comprehensive Planning Award. And they're also kind of a similar city with some areas that have a similar life cycle to Arlington. Their vision is also very similar to what, I think there are components of it that, for me, remind me of Arlington. Mid-sized city in America. They have a place of lasting value. And again, that opportunity for all residents. They have 6 big ideas is what they refer to these as: creating great places, that's design and vibrancy. Again, something that Jincy mentioned that would be placemaking, so think of that Cap Park over I-30. Car optional, this goes into mobility and creating places, perhaps even mixed use or neighborhoods where you can walk to the store. There's an opportunity where there's an office building that you could walk to. The school district is nearby. Just having more options where you don't always have to depend on that car. And that's just something that Greensboro, has highlighted as something that they would like. But and then they want, sustainability. You can clearly see that that's also indicative in their logo, that, greenery, sustainability, the earth. So that's just something that they want to be known for. Community connections, fostering strong social ties. We kind of already have that in our Arlington 99 square mile plan on making sure that we create leadership networks with neighborhoods, having strong ties with UTA, a strong entertainment district, as well as with our school districts. And we will certainly be continuing those and seeing even how we can make those more innovative moving forward. Economic competitiveness, we've already talked about there being a wish or want to ensure that where we're focusing our development in terms of securing those tax dollars on the edge versus centralized. And then legacy, they want to ensure that their growth leaves a positive legacy for their residents. So it's a great plan. And then wanted to highlight an article that was published by planning.org, which is the American Planning Association. This was a conversation they had with the former city manager of both Greensboro as well as Charlotte. He was at Charlotte when Charlotte adopted their master plan, and then he moved to Greensboro shortly after they adopted their plan. And he's now since gone on to consulting. But he highlighted the power of the comprehensive plan, and that's really ensuring that there's equity in planning, emphasizing the importance of integrating equity into the comprehensive planning process to address community-wide concerns. Housing choice, advocating for the expansion of housing choice through the promotion of inclusive zoning, and that's for at least Greensboro. That was really looking at their zoning ordinance and reforming it to allow for more types of single family and duplex, triplex, all that types of development. And then he also highlighted community engagement, making sure that we as planners are leading that meaningful change in city policies, but also working with all the stakeholders, whether they be public, business owners, certainly y'all as a committee, council, planning and zoning commission, making sure that we're gathering all that input and speaking to everyone who needs to be reached to. So great article. I will be sending all of these links to y'all so that you can kind of peruse it. Feel free to email me back and say, I really like this. Let's talk about this more. I'll take note of that. But yeah, any questions about Greensboro or Charlotte or like the general comprehensive plan process that they went through?
Yeah, Bill Frawley.
I think it's worth pointing out, and I'm just going to guess people that didn't have a planning educational background. Daniel Burnham, who this award is named after, he's not just some like financial donor. He goes back to the 1800s. He's considered the father, maybe by now the great-grandfather of city planning. He developed a plan for Chicago. He innovated public outreach and involvement. But he has a famous quote that in summary is, "Make no small plans, for they don't stir men's now people's imaginations." And like the slide before that had the 6 big ideas, that's got to be based on some of his inspiration. I think we should all take that to heart, that if we don't do some far out there thinking, not that all the crazy ideas will be used, but that's how you get back to realism in a way. So I just thought it's worth pointing out that award being named after him with the American Planning Association is a big, big deal, and his name carries importance.
Absolutely. All right.
Okay, at this time, we need to discuss future meeting dates of February the 20th and March 20th, 2025. Will those work for the members? Okay, all right, so I think we're going to be okay there. John is going to go over some potential ideas or agendas on our next meetings.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the next two. We're really going to start gearing into comprehensive planning mode. So as a precursor to that, as well as what this evening served, we are inviting the City of Dallas and the City of Frisco, both their city staff and appointed officials. I'll have a more concrete list of names that will be joining us for the February 20th meeting. Dallas recently adopted their Forward Dallas Comprehensive Plan, and the City of Frisco is, based on their website, is tentatively considering their comprehensive plan in February. So what the intent of this meeting will be is to bring those staff members and elected officials to y'all, and they are basically at the finish line or have crossed the finish line, whereas we are just starting. Knowledge is power, and so this is going to be a great opportunity to ask them questions that, if you were looking at yourself 2 years from now, what are some questions that you'd like to know, maybe get a head start on, questions that really possibly no one in this room could really answer, but someone that has just completed a comprehensive plan in a different city with different, climates. But some of those engagements are very similar, at least the techniques, the conversations can be similar. Ask them about, what some of the challenges that they had. It's just a great learning opportunity to learn about them. But it's also good to know what some of these large cities in North Texas are planning to do. It's something just good for us to keep in mind and know that some of these other cities are also planning some big ideas. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun meeting. Yes, Jinsey?
Chair Cox, if I can add a few more words. So Forward Dallas, I would like y'all to kind of look at their website and see what they have in the Forward Dallas plan. It was very controversial when the planning process had begun and in the process. So it did take a few years to get to the adoption. So definitely in that meeting, y'all can ask those things so that we have the lessons learned and we are not going through that same thing. But definitely look at the plan and ask the right questions, what the controversial issues were. How did they overcome it? What did they have to do to get it adopted? So just wanted to place that out.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It should be a really fun and interesting meeting. And now Dallas will be virtual because they do have they have their Planning and Zoning Commission meeting that night. City of Frisco should be here though. We'll be in this room. So it should be a really fun meeting. The public is certainly able to come as well and ask some questions from them as well. And then leading into our March meeting, this will be a huge week for the Arlington Comprehensive Plan. This is really when the first big opportunity since having the MIG consulting firm online that we are getting out there with information that will actually go into the comprehensive plan. So we are beginning phase one, or actually we're currently in phase one. But for a public-facing phase one, this will be a lot of the visioning exercises and getting information out there about the existing conditions of Arlington so that we can learn more about what the public's thoughts are on where we stand, as well as just thinking about some innovative futures that we might be able to pursue. So March 18th will be the community workshop. That'll be an evening workshop that the MIG consulting firm is going to be taking care of, but we as staff will be here as well. TBD on the exact location. I'm getting some logistical requirements from the MIG team as to what needs to be available to them so that I can book a room, but I will keep y'all in the loop on that. March 19th is a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. At that meeting, they will be providing an update to the commissioners. That will also include the existing conditions atlas as well. And then March 20th is, of course, our meeting. We are going to be talking again about that existing conditions atlas. I've not received a full agenda from them, but there's going to be a lot of data that night. And as Jinsey mentioned, we're going to try to get that to y'all before that meeting as quickly as we can. Right now, I believe we are supposed to be getting the first draft of some of these deliverables tomorrow, is what I was told today. So that is moving along as scheduled. So looking forward to that. Yeah, a lot of big things. Y'all are going to be invited, of course, to that community workshop. I definitely recommend that anyone who can attend. Invite your friends, your family. We're certainly going to be doing our part on making sure that it is notified and that we can reach as many people in the public as possible about this meeting. And again, it'll be in the evening, and I'll have more details as I learn more as well.
Similar for the BZ workshop, are we invited to attend that?
Yes, you are. That is a work session, though, so it'll start around 2:30. And then we'll have our regular meeting time. So some of the next steps, we had a great third meeting. I really appreciate y'all's input. Now we dig in. So I'm excited. Plan, name, and logo. So we took action. We will be sharing this with council and then begin the logo and branding, as Kristen kind of talked about. And then January through March, those are the deliverables that we'll be looking at. City staff completed the review of the draft inventory and document review. That was almost 700 Excel rows of actionable items from all of our strategic plans in the city. So staff took a week to go through all of those items, tell MIG where we stand, and give some notes. So it's going to be valuable input for them to really look at as they start building the existing conditions atlas and prepare for the workshop and our March meeting. The growth factor and peer communities report, that is not in our hands yet, but that will look at about 6 communities nationwide that are very similar to Arlington. And exactly as it says, it's going to be a peer community report. So it'll kind of say, here's Arlington, here's city A, B, C, and D, and it'll give us an idea as to where we stand in relation to some of our national sister cities. And then the community engagement plan, that has been finalized, so that is for the entire process itself. It just outlines how the focus groups that we're going to start engaging, and those are going to be specific experts in some of their fields: art and culture, entertainment, housing, education, health, kind of getting some experts that work and reside here in Arlington to get more feedback from them. So looking forward to that. So lots going on. So there's going to be a lot coming at y'all here, but we will try to make sure that it's not a complete fire hose.
Okay. Any other
Mr. Frawley?
comments, questions?
I
Yes.
apologize. I've got
okay.
more
Bill
questions
Frawley.
tonight than I've ever had. The 6 cities, are y'all still choosing those? And the reason I'm asking is, they're going to be similar to Arlington, but will that be because of a similar population? Are they going to be part of another big metropolitan area, standalone city of around 400,000? So kind of thinking about the similarities in reality, if that makes sense.
So some of the conversations that we had We're looking not necessarily, like if you're DFW, we're not looking for the Dallas of a specific area or the Fort Worth of a specific area. So I don't believe that that will necessarily come out as one of those top 6. So they're looking at population, diversity, housing, workforce, education attainment, just a lot of the housing characteristics, as well as forms of government, how old the city is, and they're kind of creating a ranking system that will kind of give them, based on all of these generalities, the top 6 that should be looked at. It's quite scientific.
Yes, Victoria Farrar Myers.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One quick follow-up question. You said the community engagement plan had already been finalized, but I heard you loudly when you said you wanted Gen Z and millennials, especially Gen Z, so I'm thinking of our population of college students. So beyond focus groups, is there been any outreach to faculty at UTA with specific, okay, so
Yes.
I'm seeing you say yes. I assume this is the case, but I don't like to assume without asking and verifying. Because I think it'd be really helpful if we could get into some classes, especially the planning classes, urban design. You know, young minds have great ideas. Walkable Arlington came out of a group from UTA, so sounds like we're going to get that hands on those kind of data.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for that clarification. Appreciate it.
I'm hoping I can just set up a table too after lunch a few days and just sit on campus and see who comes by.
Well, I know that student governance, they have their meetings. There's a lot of different organizations and groups. So, I mean, certainly if you needed many hands to reach out, certainly, you know, as a committee member, I'll offer myself. I won't offer anybody else on the dais. But since I kind of am in that environment already, I think that's an opportunity we could well take advantage of.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
Okay, any other questions or comments? All right.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just if I could elaborate on what Victoria said. Let's not forget that we have another college in town too, which includes a lot of the Southeast Arlington, which is very difficult to bring the citizens of Southeast Arlington into there. They tend to more associate with Mansfield than they do Arlington, so sometimes they don't feel included. But I would also encourage you to reach out to that sector of the population also.
Yes, and I know TCC has already signed up for as a focus group member.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you for the great presentation. I want to give a round of applause to the city staff. They've had a long day today, guys. I mean, they really do. They work really, really hard, and they make this look so easy. And believe me, they are putting in the hours and the time to be able to pull this off for us. So we really are very appreciative of that. So with there being no further business, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 7:55. Oh, 6:55 p.m.
All right. And then just a
This
reminder.
meeting is adjourned.
Name badges.